and welcome back to my channel. My name's Hannah, and this is Not Your Average Witch Curl. And yes, I'm wearing the exact same shirt that I wore in my review of the Witch's Planner because I'm filming this on the same day. So, today I am going to be talking to you guys about the Darkwood Tarot, because it is officially spooky season. We have reached the autumn equinox. Today is September 21st. Happy Mabon, even though it won't be Mabon by the time you guys see this video. But I really wanted to talk about this deck. I know Papa Squirrel talked about it forever ago, a couple months ago I think, on his channel, which I will link down below because I love his reviews. He's so in-depth, so if you want to see a better review than what I'm going to do, please check out Papa Squirrel. He talks about like cardstock and stuff like that. Anyway, let's get into it. So, I have the deck in front of me as well as the page pulled up on Llewellyn. The Darkwood Tarot is a deck by Sasha Graham, and it's illustrated by Abigail Larson, which is where I first heard about it because I follow Abigail on Instagram, on both my personal page and my witchy page, which is also Not Your Average Witch Curl. But I love Abigail's artwork. It's very spooky, and I don't want to say Tim Burton-esque, but it's very much about the line work and the angles and stuff, and I really love it. So this is a deck that was published by Llewellyn. So yeah, it comes in the same like magnetic flip box, and it's got Abigail's artwork on it. And then on the inside you get the massive, ooh, that was not a good idea. And on the inside, you got the pull ribbon, and it comes with an absolutely massive, beautifully illustrated guidebook with pages on every single card. Like, it's one page per card, which I love. It's very in-depth. And let me read you a little bit about... Everything's going everywhere. Let me read you a little bit about the deck from the Llewellyn website, what Llewellyn has to say about it. Okay. Entering the wood is easy, leaving it is a different matter. How will you emerge? Dare to enter the dark wood and discover your shadow self with this enthralling Rider-Waite-Smith style deck. As you take on the role of a witch entering the wood, each magnificent card becomes a vision of deep wisdom that guides you to a richer understanding of yourself. Examine secret desires and shadowy dreams. Explore the unknown recesses of your psyche. This captivating deck and full-color companion book lead you through the darkness and into the light that reflects your hidden talents and personal power. So basically, this is a shadow deck. It is a shadow work deck, in my opinion, and I think they even say that, like on Instagram and stuff like that. So basically, you get the full tarot deck with the guidebook, and what is awesome about the guidebook is, since it's a shadow deck, you have the regular meaning, and then you also have a shadow meaning, which I think is what they call reversals. So, of course, the first card I pulled up is the Chariot. That's my numerological birth card. And so, like, if you get the Chariot, you have the upright meaning, and then get it reversed, and you have the shadow meaning. So, let's talk about the shadow meanings real quick. I don't read reversals. I just don't. I never really have. For me, it is an extra layer added on top of something that is already complex. I just don't read reversals. So instead, for this deck and other decks in particular, I will take the card, and if it's a deck that I want to look up the meaning, where's the meaning? Hello? Okay, and then you get, here's the page for the Chariot, and then it has the giant illustration of it, and then more meanings and stuff, or more, it tells more about the story. You have the meaning, so instead of just reading the meaning, if I get this card, I will read the meaning and the shadow meaning, so that I get a more full picture of what the card is trying to tell me, and then I use my intuition from there. Basically, I read intuitively, taking the book meanings into account. Now, the awesome thing about the book is that it's a story, basically. You start out with the prologue, which tells you about the witch that is you, and her going through the entirety of the tarot and her journey through it and coming out the other side as more understanding of herself. So that's basically what this deck is all about. Which I really like. It's not a unique take on the tarot, going through it as a journey, because you're the Fool. The Fool starts out and you go through everything. You go through the tarot and all of the steps you have to take to become fulfilled, essentially. So I like the story behind it. It's very well written. Sasha Graham did a really good job, I think, writing the book. So I like the writing of the book. It's very beautiful. The artwork, I like that you get a giant version of the artwork, so you can see all the little nuances of the card, and the artwork delve way deeper into the symbolism, and the fact that the descriptions and it's just so well written. I really enjoyed the book. So let's get into the deck itself. So it is a typical Llewellyn deck. As far as cardstock goes, it is that kind of glossy cardstock, and here's the back. It's just so it can be read with reversals. It's that glossy, it's very thin. It's not a very substantial card, but it's not so thin that you can't riffle shuffle it, which is how I shuffle cards. I riffle shuffle and then I bridge them back together. This deck is hard for me to bridge, because it is so flimsy, the cards, and so glossy, the cards kind of slip everywhere, and I'm already very clumsy with shuffling. I always have been. Like, playing card games as a kid with my parents was really hard when I had to shuffle, because I'm terrible at it. So shuffling these, it's okay. Bridging them back together, not a great experience. Like, overhanding them is... I have tiny hands, so for me, this is a standard tarot deck, right? And it's hard for me to hold it like this. So, like, overhanding it is okay. It's an okay experience, but I find that the finish of the cards with this glossy finish is harder for me to control. They just slide everywhere. I prefer a more matte cardstock. Personally, that's just I like matte. Even though they stick together a little more, I prefer a more matte finish. I think it just looks cleaner and it's easier for me to shuffle. So yeah, it's a standard size tarot deck. I'm going to compare it to if you have the Mystical Manga Tarot by Stephanie Ron, I think, and Barbara Moore. It's the same type of like guidebook, but the guidebook for the Darkwood is bigger, and then you have the same glossy tarot cards that are, in my opinion, I think they're the Mystical Manga and Darkwood Tarot are like the exact same size. It's just that typical Llewellyn size card. And for me, the Darkwood Tarot is slightly thicker, but not thick enough to make a difference. I used to read almost exclusively with the Mystical Manga, which is just like Rider-Waite Smith but anime, or manga. I almost exclusively read with that to learn tarot, but I hardly ever touch it anymore just because I hate the cardstock. The cardstock is so thin and glossy and weird, and I just don't like it. So when I bought this deck, I didn't know it was Llewellyn. I bought it from Barnes & Noble. So I didn't know it was going to be this cardstock that I just don't like. I just don't like it. It's not me bashing Llewellyn. I just don't like this cardstock. It's just, it feels cheap, which makes sense because it is $32 on Llewellyn's website. So it's cheaper as far as tarot decks go, right? Especially tarot decks with such gorgeous artwork. Like, look at that. That's the Two of Cups. Let me see who else I have here. I showed Temperance in the book, but here's the card version of Temperance. I absolutely love the artwork. Like, it's absolutely gorgeous. There's the the Seven of Swords. Sorry, it's hard for me to see in the camera. But the artwork is just stunning. I love it so much, but I absolutely detest Llewellyn's cardstock. And I like using this deck because the imagery is so vivid, and I feel like it's an easy read for someone who is more versed in tarot. For starting out, you might not get the connections right away. It's mostly Rider-Waite Smith style, but because it's like a shadow deck, you're probably not going to get the same vibes as a traditional Rider-Waite deck. Like this is the sun. So it's a necky lady on a horse, and you can see the sun, but it's like overcast, it's like hazy. So it's not the same, to me, it's not the same vibe as the sun card in the Rider-Waite Smith deck, or other decks that I have. This is more of a creepy vibe, definitely, which is intentional. It's completely intentional. It's a good deck. I like reading with it. What I usually do with it, but basically what I use these decks for is, I get my son involved in readings with them, because I find them more true to the Rider-Waite Smith system than like my my more Pippish decks. I wanted to make sure he was interested in it before I started teaching him, so I've been shuffling the cards around him, and he'll ask me about it, and he wants to pull cards, and he asks me what they mean. So for that, I use the Llewellyn decks basically as a teaching tool for my son, and I like doing readings for myself with them. They're nice. I don't read reversals, which is a huge part of the deck, so I have to do that my own way of taking the upright and reversed meanings into account to get the full picture of the deck, or else I feel like half it's kind of meaningless. I love the artwork. I love the way it's laid out. It's a gorgeous deck. It's stunning. I love Abigail Larson's artwork so much, and was so excited when I heard she was coming out with a tarot deck. Because look at that. Focus, please. Yeah, her artwork, her figures are stunning, her animals are stunning. The aces, I love the aces. The aces in this deck are absolutely stunning. So yeah, I love her artwork. My only issue, and I've seen a few other people speak on this, especially on Instagram, and I think Papa Squirrel mentioned it in his video too, that there are not a lot of people of color, and then the body diversity in this deck, like everyone's skinny and tall. I like Abigail Larson's artwork, and it's her artwork, and she can do whatever she wants, but there is no representation of oversized people that I can think of. Everyone's like, yeah, everyone is skinny and beautiful and able-bodied, and there are a few cards that are, I'm trying to find this so hard, that look to me to be people of color, but it's kind of hard to tell because of the muted tones. So there's like this card, which is, yeah, the Page of Cups, that looks like she could be someone of color. Some of the kings look like they have a darker complexion. The High Priestess. Oh, I love this card so much. I love the High Priestess in almost every deck. But the main card that I decide if I am going to buy a deck off of, if I can find it. Here's another what looks like another person of color. But like I said, they're very few and far between in this deck. A lot of animals. There it is. The card I decide if I'm going to buy a deck off of is the Queen of Swords. That is my indicator card. And if I don't like the Queen of Swords, I don't buy the deck, generally. I know that's kind of stupid to base it off of one card, but the Queen of Swords is a very important card to me, personally. And if I don't like it, then I know I'm just not going to like the deck. So the Queen of Swords in this deck is a woman with a sword sitting on a mountain-looking throne with two braids. She looks very like Valkyrie. It gives me Norse vibes. Very Norse-esque. And she's got what looks like butterflies. Yeah, they look like little butterflies or moths or something like that, and a crown that looks like it's got thorns on it. I really like this card. It speaks to me as what a Queen of Swords should be. Yeah. Anyway, I really like this card. I was really concerned because I didn't get to see all of the cards before I bought it that I wasn't going to like the Queen of Swords. So I wasn't sure if I was going to like this deck. But I do like the Queen of Swords, so I feel like I can connect on that level because the Queen of Swords is my personal indicator card. And I also like to make sure that... There it is. Okay, so I also like to make sure the strength card is a good card because I'm a Leo and the Strength card is like our zodiac card. So the 3 cards I basically base if I'm going to buy a deck off of or not is the my 3 cards, which is the Queen of Swords, which is my personal indicator, the Chariot, which is my numerological birth card, and then Strength, which is my zodiac birth card. So here's the Strength card in this deck. It's a lady who looks like she's charming a snake, which is completely different from what normal Strength cards are. It's interesting in this deck that it's a snake and not a lion, because Leo gets associated with Strength because of the lion. In this deck, it fascinates me that it's this beautiful woman who is just so calm in front of this scary looking snake, which, I mean, I don't find snakes scary. I love snakes. In front of the snake, and she's just charming it, which I think speaks to the Strength card in a different way, in that a lot of Strength cards are about inner strength and taming the beast. So the Strength in this deck is more about taming that danger, that power, that instead of it being the lion, which is like the king of the jungle, and the lion is the Leo, the king of the zodiac, the snake is more of a sly and elusive creature, and still just dangerous, if not more than a lion. But it is often underestimated because snakes are smaller than lions. So that strength that comes from being underestimated, taming that and using that in a way that empowers you. And I just love this Strength card. Like, if you can't tell, I just absolutely adore this. I adore the artwork in this deck, and the Chariot being the eagle, which has very much swords energy to me, especially head on like that. It's a bird of prey and all that. I love the artwork. It's so good. Okay, so my favorite cards are the Queen of Swords, Strength, and then I love this Hierophant card. It's a tree woman, essentially. I know that the Hierophant is a card that a lot of people struggle with, especially if you come from a religious background like I do, like a Christian background. It can be kind of hard to see the Hierophant card as anything other than negative for a lot of people, and I'm working on that. It's a shadow area for me. But the fact that this is a tree woman instead of being like a priest or whatever, it speaks to me more of the teaching of the old ways, like the pagan ways. And I love, one, that it's not a man, that it's a woman, or a female presenting tree. And that she has the keys, and she's obviously like teaching the reader magic. It's just, it seems very, very pagan to me in a way that a lot of Hierophant cards for me fail to feel. I don't like the obviously Christian inspired Hierophant card of the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith. I don't vibe with it. So for me, this card, fabulous. Yeah, I just like this. This is what I want every Hierophant card to be like. That the pagan, that raw, earthy, nature-based Hierophant, that if this was my teacher, like my magical teacher, I would love it. Regular Hierophant cards, I'm just like, meh. I just don't like them. But yeah, it being so different from the traditional, and this whole deck in general being so different from the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith imagery, for me is chef's kiss. I love it. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up now because I have just been chatting for ages about it. So yeah, Darkwood Tarot, like standard tarot size, Rider-Waite-Smith base, but a lot of the cards are more pibbish. The artwork is stunning. It's very dark. As far as diversity goes, it's alright. It's not great. Especially in terms of like body size and able-bodiedness. There are a few people of color, but mostly it's white people. And the cardstock, it's that Llewellyn cardstock that's thinner, it's glossy, it's cheaper. I don't want to be mean, but I don't like Llewellyn cardstock, but it is a cheaper deck. It's $32 on Llewellyn's website. And I feel like I got it for cheaper than that, but I can't remember. So if you like Llewellyn cardstock, if you like glossy cards, and you read with reversals, even if you don't read with reversals, you might like this deck, because I do. It's good if you like Llewellyn's cardstock, essentially. I like the artwork. I think the artwork is stunning. I follow Abigail, like I said, on Instagram. I love her artwork. The book itself, absolutely fabulous. Where did I put it? The book itself, gorgeous. Tons of information you can use, and it's also easy for me to read this deck intuitively. But like I said, the book also provides tons of information on the cards, so you have that as well. So all in all, it's a good deck. It's good for what it is. It's a Llewellyn deck. Personally, not my favorite brand to buy tarot decks from, but that's just me. I know a lot of people like Llewellyn. I think I would give this deck I'm going to say an 8. I know I just dogged on the cardstock, but I'm going to give it an 8. And that's because of the guidebook, the box, which is that sturdy Llewellyn huge box with the cards, and then you put the book on top, and then it's like magnetic, so it's really sturdy. It keeps your cards safe. I don't use tarot bags just because I prefer keeping the original boxes for the artwork, and generally I don't like tuck boxes, but Llewellyn's boxes I really enjoy, so I keep those generally. So yeah, 8 out of 10 for the box, the artwork, the book. The ease of reading the deck for me, I know some people might find it more difficult. It is a darker deck, so if you don't like spooky stuff, you might not like it, but I like it. It's a good deck. I just hate the cardstock. I like reading with this deck, but shuffling it sucks. Like, the edges for me are, I don't know. I just don't like cardstock. I deal with it though. If you like Llewellyn cardstock and you like this type of shadowy type of deck, you'll probably really, really enjoy this. So yeah, I like it. I enjoy this deck quite a bit. Other than the fact that for me, I can't shove. I have tiny hands, and Llewellyn cards aren't the biggest, but it's like awkward for me, like trying to get a hold of all of them because they're glossy and they slide around so much. It's just harder for me to like get a hold of them in my hands, and shuffling them and then bridging them is almost impossible because they're so glossy. They just don't go back together very well for me. They just slip and slide everywhere. But if you don't care about finish, if you like Llewellyn's cardstock, you'll really like this deck. If you want a full flip through of the deck, go see Papa Squirrel's video on this deck. He does gorgeous flip throughs of every single card in the decks that he reviews. His videos are very stunning. His videography, he's just so good. I love his channel so much. He deserves way more subscribers than he has, and that's just a fact. So if you want a full flip through, Papa Squirrel has one on his, and he talks way more in depth about the cardstock and stuff. This is just my opinion as someone who is not very technical about tarot deck. 8 out of 10 because I love the artwork, I love the box, I love the book. The size is okay. The borders aren't traditional borders. They have like some of the artwork in them. So that's nice. So it's not like just plain white, huge borders. So yeah, I like it. It's a good deck. It's not my favorite, but I will be using it a lot this for the next few months because we are in spooky season now. Dark half of the year. We just passed it's the autumn equinox today. So yeah, and there's a lot of apple imagery in here, which goes perfect with Mabon. And if you say I'm pronouncing it wrong, you're probably right. But like I mentioned in my introduction video, I suck at pronouncing things. So yeah, there's a lot of like cut open apples. So yeah, this is the 6 of Pentacles right here. But there's a lot of this apple imagery, like cut open apples and stuff. So I really love it. So I'm planning to use it in ritual today. And I'm also going to be using it for the rest of the year because I find this to be a perfect deck for the dark half of the year because it is the Darkwood Tarot. It's all about shadow, and this half of the year is all about This half of the year is all about retreating inward, looking to the self. So this deck, I'm hoping, will help me a lot with that. Because of the imagery, I plan on using it a lot in my rituals with Persephone and Hades, especially Hades, now that I'm trying to form a working relationship with him. Like, strengthen that relationship. I'm going to be using this deck a lot. It's got a lot of the dark. It's dark. It's a dark deck, so I feel like it works perfectly for Hades. So yeah, for those purposes, I'm going to use it a ton this winter, but I don't know if I would use it a lot outside of that, just because I have decks that I love more from other brands that I use more on the daily, like the Everyday Tarot. And then I'm going to do an entire dedicated video on my decks from Labyrinthos, because nobody talks about them. I don't know why. So yeah, I'm going to do a video on that. But yeah, this is $32 for this deck and this awesome book and the box. So it's a good deal. It's a good deal. $32 for that. So I would recommend this deck to people who are asking for a shadow deck, just because I like the artwork that much. That's my review of the Darkwood Tarot. 8 out of 10. It's decent. You can get it from Llewellyn's website, llewellyn.com. You can also get it from Amazon and Barnes & Noble. I will try to link all those below, and as well as linking Abigail Larson's Instagram. If you want to see more kind of behind the scenes stuff from me, I do have an Instagram. It is at Not Your Average Witch Curl. I will link that down below. I don't know how often I'm going to be able to post videos in the next few months, but I've really been enjoying making videos so far. So yeah, I'll leave links for everyone down below. Papa Squirrel, Abigail Larson. I don't know if Sasha Graham has any social media, but I'll try to link her as well. And info for the deck and all of that. So thank you for watching this very rambly, non-scripted video about the Darkwood Tarot. I just thought, since I had just filmed a video, I could film another one. Why not? Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day, night, week, rest of the year. Don't forget to vote. Voting season is now. Register. Make sure you're registered. And if you have any suggestions for videos to film in the future, please let me know. I will catch you guys later. Thanks. Bye.